All right. Thanks for watching East Coast AVP. My name's Graham. I'm here to talk to you all a little bit about a local tournament we got going on in Richmond today. Quick shout out to Nick Drucker. Did a pretty good job throwing together, a high-level men's open tournament last minute. There were a lot of other tournaments going on in the area that weren't offering men's open divisions. Nick felt this wasn't right, so took it upon himself to make it happen, which is pretty great. I think everyone's excited to go play. What this video is, we're basically going to sit here and we're going to talk about the bracket. We've got the bracket based on the current entries on AVP America, all drawn out. We're going to run through match by match, kind of give an analysis of the matchup, give our prediction on what's going to happen, and just talk a little bit of shit while we're at it.
All right.
We're joined by my co-host Kevin Knight, also known as the Cookie Man. If you ever show up to a tournament, you see a guy warming up in an apron. That's Kevin. Likes to bake a bunch of cookies the night before and just kind of pass them all out during the day.
Appreciate that, Graham.
Yeah.
I'm here to offer commentary on any of the terrible takes you have.
Fair enough. Some of these takes might be terrible, and I think more terrible than any of my takes might be so far, honestly, is the FOMO I'm getting right now. Just kind of wishing I could play. Hopefully I'll be back out there soon, and kind of this is how I am fulfilling my volleyball bug at the minute.
Yeah, how is that ankle doing, by the way?
Dude, it's doing pretty well. I'm my target return date is hopefully I'll be back for ECSC. Maybe play a small tournament before then, and then hopefully be back for ECSC ready to go.
We got to get Dave Jones on one of these videos.
We'll see about that.
We'll cross that bridge when it happens.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and maybe we can get Dave Jones to hype up some of our videos. We'll see. For any who don't know who Dave Jones is, local Virginia Beach legend. He's usually on the mic at ECSC, just hyping up the entire crowd. Does a great job with it. All right, so our entry list for this tournament as of right now is as follows. Coming in at the 1 seed, we have Angel Dache and Bryce Ernsberger. Angel hails from Wilmington, North Carolina. Bryce from Virginia Beach. Coming in at the 2 seed, we have David Arnold out of Virginia Beach and Cam Beans out of somewhere in Maryland. I'm not entirely sure. Coming in at the 3 seed, we have Kevin Knight out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and Nick Drucker, aforementioned, out of Richmond, Virginia. 4 seed, we have JP and Misha, hailing from the Raleigh area. 5 seed, we've got Adrian Husted and Matt McLaren, both from Virginia Beach. 6 seed, Cam Rodriguez from Northern Virginia, Sterling, Virginia to be exact, and Cortland Scherenberg from Virginia Beach. 7 seed, we've got Austin Banks and Joey Pate out of Raleigh area. And then at the 8 seed, not your typical 8 seed necessarily. We've got Matt Smith and Phil Slocum out of Richmond.
So interestingly enough, I received a text message from Phil that they had the 3rd place trophy locked up already.
Really?
Yeah.
3rd place trophy?
Yeah, they told me the 3rd place trophy is theirs and no one's taking it from them.
Well, some people might think that's a little presumptuous, but at the same time, seeing that kind of confidence out of a couple of new fathers really warms your heart.
They used to train a bit with Hudson, huh? Hudson Bates? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when Hudson was up in Richmond, they were training with it. I mean, probably wasn't a regular thing, but when he was around, they used to train with him a bit.
Yeah, they take a lot of thirds back then, or what?
No idea.
No idea.
So do we want to go into each one of these guys individually, or teams, or what?
I figure let's just start with the matchup and
match by match.
Yeah, we'll go match by match and kind of give, especially on these first matches, we'll give a little bit about each player as we go.
I'm measuring sugar, by the way, if anyone's curious.
Yeah. So first match we're going to talk about is Angel and Bryce against Matt and Phil. Definitely a bit of a landmine match for Angel and Bryce. Usually go into these tournaments, facing the bottom seed, and you're hoping to, maybe you get kind of warm, maybe you hit a little bit of shots, probably float serve, just kind of not take the match too seriously, but make sure you take care of business. And frankly, that just seems like a recipe for an upset if they take that approach.
I mean, especially in North Carolina, Virginia, you're usually expecting a fairly straightforward first match for the 1 or 2 seed. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you on this one. You got kind of 2 old veterans that play together and don't necessarily have a lot of points, but
yeah. How long have Matt and Phil been playing together? It's got to be at least 30 years, right?
Totally unknown.
Yeah.
Totally unknown. Talking shit the whole time though.
Yep.
So Angel, I guess Angel, to give a little bit of background, is probably considered one of the strongest, if not the strongest player on the Mid-Atlantic region at least. And then Bryce, the guy he's playing with, who I've actually played with recently, I would say is kind of right up there with him in
yeah, pretty strong dude, but not as strong as his dad.
Gotta bring Jeff into it, don't you?
Yeah. For those who don't know, Bryce's dad, Jeff, runs a CrossFit gym in Virginia Beach. It's a great place to work out, great atmosphere. If you're in the area, suggest check it out sometime.
So, what would you say? I mean, would you say that they are a heavy favorite or a likely favorite? Is it their tournament to lose? What would you say about them as overall prospects?
I would say they are. I would just call them a favorite. I don't know if I would call them a likely favorite. You know, I think particularly kind of given everything that's going on in the world right now, I think that there's going to be a little bit more volatility with these tournaments to begin with. Just because people probably aren't getting quite as many reps as they're used to getting, so there's going to be a little bit of uncertainty going into these tournaments.
That makes sense. And then, is there anything to be said about Matt Smith and Phil aside from their old veteran status? Dark horse for the finals, or dark horse for the win, or what? What do you think?
We'll call them dark horse for the guaranteed third place. Is what I would think. I'm not ready to lock them into a third place just yet. You know, I think at the end of the day, you look at their points and they're the 8 seed, and I think that there's a reason that a lot of these teams are seeded a little bit higher. So I think that they've got the work cut out for them today.
All right, let's move on to the 2 seed match.
Yeah, just real quick to give our prediction on that match. I think Angel and Bryce will win that match, probably in 2. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say 21-18, 21-17. I think Matt and Phil will execute on a lot of the small stuff, kind of play their dad games, you know, win a lot of little cheeky points, but at the end of the day, I think Angel and Bryce will end up being a little bit too much for them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, for our next matchup at the 4 and the 5, we've got JP and Misha against Adrian and Matt.
All right.
What do you think about this matchup?
Oh, let me think. So JP and Misha are the 4 seed?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Misha and JP are my training partners, so I guess what a classic big little combo. Misha's got a real steady block, and both of them set quite well. JP's a fast, kind of solid defender. Hasn't really played much nationally or really that much outside of Carolina and Virginia, but always a strong contender. How
did they end up doing at the Wilmington tournament a couple weeks ago?
You know, they beat. You know, they have the number 1 watched video, I think, on our channel. They ended up beating Chris Vaughn and Nate Miller early on in that day. Kind of a surprise. I think it's just Misha's steady block, and nobody's kind of figured them out yet. But
what do you think? What do you think it would take for a team to figure them out?
I mean, you know, if it were me playing them, I would probably run double up line. I would assume that Misha's gonna either hit or shoot line, and I would leave the entire angle open and see if he hits it.
It's true. Misha, notorious for really liking his line shot. I mean, I can't really blame him. You know, a nice, crispy, high line shot.
What is he, 6'7"?
Yeah, he's 6'7". You know, it's a thing of beauty. You know, really, for a big fella, it is, you know, it's a nice fundamental shot that you got to have in your arsenal. I think if I was going to compare Misha to an AVP player, I'd almost call him Theo Brunner, but with hands. Obviously, at kind of a local level, not anywhere.
He's not anywhere near the jumper that Theo is.
Right, not anywhere near the jumper. You know, obviously not the blocker that Theo is, but if we're gonna draw comparisons, that's kind of where I would go there.
For as far as North Carolina and Virginia volleyball goes, I'd say that's fairly apt. I think this is a pretty straightforward match. I think Misha and JP are just too steady for
Adrian and Matt.
For their counterparts.
Gotcha. I haven't really seen Matt play at all.
I got to see him briefly, and he's definitely got the. I'm cutting up butter, by the way. He's definitely got the raw tools to be a really good beach player, but he doesn't have the consistency yet. Do you know any background on Matt McLaren at all?
Matt just graduated from Penn State, where he was playing varsity for Penn State as an outside hitter.
Probably a phenomenal grass player, then.
It's true. It's true. Indoor outside hitters do tend to make the best grass players for whatever reason.
So that's what, the 4 versus 5 seed?
That is the 4 versus the 5. So we're gonna go ahead and put JP and Misha into the next round. And then we're going to go ahead and drop Matt and Phil down to the losers, contenders bracket. And then we're going to drop where they will eventually run into Adrian and Matt McLaren.
So before we get the bottom half of this giant 8-team bracket, what are your thoughts on, Wilmington had a capped out 24 team event. And 2 weeks later, Richmond's struggling to get more than 8 teams. What do you think some of the factors are? I know that there's a grass tournament in Charleston, and I think there's also a grass tournament up in Pennsylvania, I think, that might be drawing players away.
Well, I think we can talk about the grass tournaments, or we can talk about the other beach tournament that's going on, 2 hours away?
Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, Virginia Beach TVA is hosting a tournament as well. Kind of unfortunate timing. I kind of see it as an unforeseeable kind of conflict that happened with the circumstances. TVA had been going through a lot of the Virginia Beach permitting process.
Kind of unbeknownst to the players, right?
A little bit, yeah. But at the same time, just trying to work on that, and you can't start advertising something before you've got it. It's just kind of a side effect of the situation, I think, unfortunately. So there's a little bit of split turnout between TVA and Richmond for this weekend.
But notably, there's arguably Bryce and Angel could have made that semifinal or final at the Wilmington. I would argue Nick Drucker and I could make a semifinal or final at that Wilmington. And JP and Misha did make the semifinal, so the top teams are in place, but definitely not nearly the amount of teams.
It's true. Very true. So moving down to the bottom side of the bracket, the 3 versus the 6, we have Kevin Knight and Nick Drucker against Cameron Rodriguez and Cortland Scherenborg. Well, what do you think about this, Kevin? What do you think's going to happen?
Obviously I'm a little bit biased, so I think.
You biased? What's that?
I'd be one of the contenders in this whole predicament.
Oh, is that the only reason? Is there any other personal history you want to go into?
No, occasionally people make calls and the calls are wrong, and sometimes they just don't want to admit to it. But we won't go into that too much. Yeah. So I just actually finished my sugar, my butter, and my other fats here. So I'm gonna start mixing up my dough. But so I think we take that in 2. As long as our serves are rocking. That's kind of our game, is grip it and rip it. And as long as our serves are rocking, I think it's a 2-set dub, maybe 21-16, 21-18, somewhere in that region. I give them credit. I think they're going to be fiery out of the gate. Both of them are competitors, and you just never know. It's a new court, new scenario. We could blow them out of the water if our serves are really rocking, but we'll see. What about you? I
think it'll be a little closer than that. I think 21-16 is a little bit of a blowout. I happen to know. I think Cam and Cortland have both been training a decent bit. Kind of a classic big little combination. They've been playing together for a while.
Do you know any background on Cortland?
Yeah, Cortland played for Ball State. Just graduated this year out of Virginia Beach. a solid player. He's probably
How long have you been playing? How long have you been
6'3",
playing
6'4".
beach?
Been playing beach for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been. It doesn't show up to a ton of tournaments every year, but he's been showing up to several tournaments and playing at a pretty high level for probably 4 years now. Showing up to a good number of Virginia Beach tournaments when he's not conflicting with college schedules and all of those things.
Yeah,
I would say I think the first game might be 21-17 or so, but then I think they're gonna give you guys everything you can handle. There'll be game 2 will be might even be 22-20. I'm gonna say 21-19. It might be 22-20.
I think we start hot and roll, but then again, I'm a little biased. But you're still taking us to 2, huh?
I am still taking you in 2.
All right. So 3 2-set wins here so far.
And that drops Cam and Cortland. That was loser's bracket. All right. So now we've got the 7 versus 2. We've got Austin Banks and Joey Pate versus Dave Arnold and Camp Beans.
Dave's my guy.
Yeah?
Dave's my partner from last year. We played a couple AVP qualifiers together. He's also out of Virginia Beach. Originally, I think from the Baltimore area, actually. Played a little bit with Eric Lucas and those guys up in the Northeast for a while. Really, really solid player, very underrated, I think. And we ended up doing pretty well last year. We got a 2nd at ECSC together, and truly a wizard on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a prediction here is pretty straightforward. Played a decent bit with Austin and Joey, but frankly, I think they're just kind of outgunned a little bit here. Both pass reasonably well, set pretty well. Hit a decent number of shots and swings, but I think Dave and Beans just kind of have a pedigree playing at a higher level than these two.
Beans been at some qualifiers too. Might be a name. I mean, I don't know how many people recognize it, but I mean, he won Potsdam, right?
Yeah. What, 2018?
18, I think. Yeah. So, some people might know who Cam Beans is. He's a solid player, good setter, good server, good side out game. So yeah, I take them in 2. Straightforward. Yeah. And we could probably give him a cookie and a bracket update, huh?
Yeah, we could do that.
What are you drinking on here?
Got a little bit of Glenlivet 12-year single malt Scotch whiskey.
I like it. I think the Crab Brothers are starting up whiskey with crabs, maybe.
Heard something about that. I haven't watched any.
I haven't either. I seen commercials on Instagram though, or whatever, or like stories or whatever.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where to even go to watch those. Do I go to?
I assume it's YouTube.
I think it's YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's YouTube. It might be an Instagram movie or whatever, but Instagram TV.
All right, so looking at the winners bracket.
Yeah, hold on. I'll grab the bracket. I can bring it up to the camera.
Here you go.
All right. I'll make sure it's in focus. Graham, you can keep talking if you want.
All right. Sure.
Winners bracket.
Pretty straightforward first round of matches.
Kind of going scratch across the board.
Yeah, we did go scratch, but if I had to pick 2 to watch, I would watch Angel and Bryce play Matt and Phil, and then I would watch Kevin and Nick against Cam and Cortland. Both of those matches, if the top seed comes out with a bit of a kind of a bit on their heels, a little slow, you could definitely see it turning into a 3-set match very quickly.
Try and video maybe one of those?
Yeah, we'll definitely video one, maybe 2. We'll
All right.
See how ambitious we're feeling.
It might be worth posting, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give this back to you. I'm going to update the viewers on the cookie. I think this will be batch 109. Looking pretty solid here. I got most of the butter and sugar creamed in with each other. I'm gonna start adding my eggs and vanilla. Once you do this enough times, you just know what it's supposed to look like, and this batch looks particularly good.
Yeah. You ever change the recipe?
Every time.
Every time.
One ingredient.
So what did you change this time?
I'm still kind of contemplating what I want to change about. I think it might be might be time to mess with the size and the big times.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Do we want to do the winner's side, or do we want to do the loser's side?
I think we do it how tournaments run. So you go 2 rounds of winners, and then we get into the contenders.
Is that still how you do it with 8?
With 8, yeah, you
With
can get through the first 2.
All right. So next up, we've got Angel and Bryce against JP and Misha. What do you think here?
A lot of overlines. A lot of overlines are going to happen.
Yeah.
Bryce and Angel are both pretty good athletes, but at 6'7", Misha's just. I mean, if they go after Misha, which I think they will, I think he's just going to go over him. I'm sure they'll pick him up somewhat, but he's just steady. He's a really steady side out guy. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I think Angel and Bryce are going to side out at a really high rate. That's kind of what they're known for.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Bryce blocking?
I don't know. I'm gonna say 93 degrees, southern heat, southern humidity. Gonna go with the split block, but
Think you're split blocking for most of the day?
Entirely possible that Bryce runs up. Although in that case, I bet he doesn't serve super hard.
It's true.
What are your thoughts going into this one?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like I feel like split blocking would be kind of their benefit. You know, kind of bringing up the point you mentioned. You don't want to tire out the big fella too quickly. If you go to Kyle Friends' Instagram, you'll see a nickname for Bryce, and I'm hoping we'll catch on. Mr. Thickums is the nickname given to Bryce by Kyle.
You think Bryce is going to start heading to qualifiers next year?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm gonna be honest.
I think Bryce has a skill to it.
I feel like Bryce has been like a qualifier level player for like 4 years now.
Yeah, I mean, how much merit is qualifier level in our area though? I don't know. I think he's got the skills for it.
Well,
to
answer your question, I don't think he will go to any qualifiers this year because
not this year,
happening.
next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year. Maybe. Who knows?
All right, back to this matchup. Are you what are you thinking?
I mean, I think Angel and Bryce will win. I don't think JP and Nisha will take it. You know, I think at the end of the day, Angel and Bryce kind of bring too much to the table.
I think if Angel's serve isn't scoring a lot of points, I think we go 3, and I think the third's tight. That's my. If there's not much wind and his serve isn't going, I think Misha and JP keep it tight, and I think it's a toss-up in 3. But that's ballsy because Angel and Bryce are definitely more proven players here. I'm a little partial towards my pickup guys.
For me, I think it comes down if they split block. I think if they split block, they'll win in 2. But I think if you make Bryce run up, I think they'll go 3.
So we're assuming Bryce is going to get every ball.
Why would you assume that?
You know, I don't know. I think we'll get into it at the finals, but my guess is Angel's just a dominant weapon of a side out player, and Bryce's setting is pretty phenomenal. So I think if they split block, I still think I think it'll go 3 unless one of them is really, really rocking their serve.
You said if they split block, or what did you say?
I think if they split block, they could win in 2 if one of their serves is rocking. But if neither one of them are blitzing aces, I think it goes 3.
But you still think Angel and Bryce win?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be a toss-up if neither one of them are acing a bunch, but I think Angel and Bryce would take that, yeah, if I were going to pick.
All right. So that drops JP down here. All right, and then the other winner's bracket match, we have Kevin Knight and Nick Drucker against Dave Arnold and Cam Beams. What do you? How about you start off by talking about the last time you and Nick played together in a tournament?
Oh, last time Nick and I played together in a tournament, just to update you, I've added my vanilla and my eggs here. Nick essentially put me on his back in the finals and carried me to a win on jump serving aces. He's got a rocket for a shoulder. He was a setter at I think King, right, in the Conference of the Carolinas. Just has an absolute cannon for a serving shoulder and a hitting shoulder for that matter. So obviously, if you can replicate that, I think we got a good shot. But I guess the issue is Cam Beans has probably got as much, if not more, of a rocket arm as Nick has. So, I would normally put us at a big advantage serving against almost everybody else, but this probably is about the one team that could match us.
How deep is the sand in Richmond? You know?
Yeah, I played there a couple times. It's not bad to jump out of, but it's by no means shallow. Is what I would say.
Because I think the tournament that y'all won together was at Blue Sky down in Chapel Hill.
Super hard pack. Think
like
Clearwater Beach type hard pack sand.
It's practically like playing on grass, for being honest. I feel like that kind of definitely favored you guys on that day. Definitely favored your play style. I think I'm going to take Dave Arnold and Cam Beans in 3 here.
That hurts.
Yeah?
Graham. Honestly, so this is with eggs and vanilla here.
I think the wizardry of David Arnold proves too much.
See, I'm going with us in 3 only because this is Dave Arnold's first tournament back. For no other reason, because I do think this is a really tough matchup for us. But because
do you know where Dave Arnold was stationed?
Iran. Yeah, Bahrain on a Navy ship when he was on land, but he was off the coast of Iran, I think.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Dave's been keeping in volleyball shape. He was playing those half-star FIVB events over there.
Not a chance.
You don't think?
Not a chance.
Playing a little bit of asphalt volleyball?
Dave is definitely one that doesn't need a lot of reps, but I think not having played highly competitive ball for a while, I think I'm gonna give us a slight edge in that one. But it's your bracket, so I think I think you put your guys. I think you put Dave and Cam because your bracket. I'm just commentating. If I changed your mind, then you could put me up there. But if you're sticking by your guns, which your idol Stephen A. is known to do,
it'll happen.
Yeah, then you gotta have Cam and Dave up in the semi.
I think the shoulder of Cam Beans and the wizardry of David Arnold proves a little bit too much for Kevin and Nick. All right, so moving down to the losers bracket now.
And I'm moving to the dry ingredients.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Wow, look at that transition. It's like this isn't even our first YouTube video. I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, this is super cringy, but who cares?
So in the 7th place game, we have Matt and Phil against Adrian and Matt McLaren. I'm just going to jump right in. I think Matt and Phil take this pretty handily.
What do you think the weaknesses are of Adrian and McLaren?
Well, I haven't seen Matt play, so I can't speak to the weaknesses of Matt, but I think
consistency would be the weakness.
You think?
Yeah, passing and setting. For Matt, not for Adrian.
And at the end of the day, I think the size of Matt at the net, going against Adrian, who Matt's what?
There's two Matts.
Matt Smith here.
Yeah.
Matt Smith is 6'6", 6'7" on a good day. Maybe. Yeah, I mean probably what 6'6".
Yeah, I mean with a kid he might be 6'5" now.
Even so, at 6'5", 6'6", with a crafty defender behind him, and then you've got Adrian, who's
crafty lefty, right?
Phil is a crafty lefty, yes. But you've got Adrian coming in at 5'8", maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And and he's not. Adrian's not a massive leaper by any means. Real solid ball control and a lot of that. But at the end of the day, I think it ends up being too much between the size of Matt and the craftiness of Phil.
All right, so they're one game away from that 3rd place trophy then.
Just had to bring that up, huh?
Well, this is so.
I mean, I wasn't betting them to take 7th. I was betting them to take 5th.
You're going in 2 there.
Yeah, in 2. All right. Then the next losers bracket game, we've got Cam Rodriguez and Cortland against Austin Banks and Joey Pate.
Ah, Banks. Banks. That's a tough one. It's a tough one to call. Austin's been living out at the Outer Banks. I don't know how much he's been training.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this is that tough to call either.
Go
I mean, I feel like Cam and Cortland are gonna take this one. You know, not super convincingly, but relatively convincingly.
I think it goes 3.
You think it goes 3?
I think Banks does weird Banks things, and Austin Banks is a wily, crazy player, and he's gonna do some crazy stuff. I think he takes him 3.
You still give the edge to Cam and Cortland though?
If you say Cam's been training, then yes.
I unfortunately still follow David Schreiber on Instagram, and I've been seeing some videos of Cam and David out at the beach courts there. So.
All right, I give it to him in 3 for me.
Okay. I think Cortland brings a little bit too much heat with his jump serve, and Cam just doesn't make mistakes.
I beg to differ, but we'll leave it there.
When Cam is playing, not reffing, he doesn't make mistakes.
Fair enough.
And I think that Austin and Joey are going to give away too many points to then overcome, the difficulty of the matchup that it is.
Austin for a single set can sometimes go unconscious and just not make mistakes. And Joe's a pretty steady player himself. Don't forget that.
All right, so our next losers bracket match, the 5th place game. We have Kevin Knight, Nick Drucker against Matt and Phil.
Oof. Matt and Phil and Nick are all training partners, huh?
Yeah. You could definitely say they've got a pretty good handle on Nick's game.
Yeah, I would assume they go after him in that case.
Yeah.
I don't know Matt and Phil well enough to really call this one, to be honest. So I'm gonna leave this one totally on you.
Matt and Phil are kind of like they're the team that the second you take them really, really seriously, at least for a team of you and Nick's caliber, I think you would win.
Actually, that's a good little segue. Where would you put Nick and I's caliber at?
I don't know.
Like a low,
we're
low qualifier, like a first, second round qualifier team, somewhere in there.
I don't know. I heard really good things from you about the Blue Sky. I looked at the Wilmington bracket and saw Nick played with Brian Dirks, took a 5th. In a pretty strong Wilmington tournament. So obviously the kid can ball. But you know how there's, I just don't have enough footage to I can't perform an eye test at this point.
I'm gonna put us at like a second round qualifier team.
Interesting.
If we're gonna play, we could play our first round, as like a low 20, high 30 seed, and get past whoever the play-in is, and then we play like a top 5 seed and give them a game, but not have enough to take them.
Yeah, because Nick is relatively new on the beach too.
Yeah.
So he's been improving leaps and bounds. What was that?
I said keep talking to the viewers.
So I don't really know because I haven't seen him play in a while. Watched him a little bit at like an indoor sand in Virginia Beach, but.
So if you're gonna go stat by stat, they probably have us in blocking, digging. What else? That might
kids.
Be it. Yeah,
kids.
definitely
just blowing them the fuck out in kids.
I give them the edge and sarcasm as well.
Yeah. The trash talking could be a factor here in this matchup that we haven't really brought up with these two, but if you want to talk about dad trash talking, it's Brian Dirks at the top, and then it's these two right behind him. Yeah.
I love that we're doing this for like the obscure East Coast volleyball team. This is what's making me the happiest about this. An in-depth breakdown on teams you've never heard of.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to you and Kevin.
Who?
You and Nick.
All right.
In 3.
All right. Is there anything that decides it?
I think, I think the night before, one of their kids is bound to keep them up late at night, and by this point in the day, they kind of just get a little too tired out.
93 degrees and humid.
93 degrees and humid in a 6'6" frame. It's a lot to move around.
Fair enough.
So, with that matchup, what trophy do Matt and Phil get?
I want to say they just missed. I want to say they just missed that 3rd place trophy.
Just missed it.
That leaves them. That leaves them with a participation 5th.
Oh, damn. Okay. That seems too harsh for him, but.
I believe Phil did tell me that he was going to bring some of his old grade school baseball trophies.
Really?
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
This absolutely makes sense that Phil's a baseball player.
Yeah.
I think the trash talking and the baseball player just kind of go hand in hand.
I mean, definitely true. If we look at some of the Charlotte guys.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So then the other losers bracket match, we've got Cam and Cortland playing JP and Misha.
Okay.
I'm just going to start by saying I think this goes 3.
JP and Misha take it on Misha blocking hard-driven balls from either one of them, or Cortland cramping out. And I'm not trying to put that evil on him. I'm not. But it happened to Wilmington.
He was getting most of the balls in Wilmington.
All of them.
Yeah. Getting all of them, and his partner made him run up, too.
I mean, he's going to be running up.
He's going to be running up here, but I don't know if I don't think he's getting more than 50% of the balls.
93 and humid. These are semi-sweet Nestle chocolate chips, by the way. I know that some people think I can do better, but this is what's expected, and honestly, this is what's worked best. Just saying.
Who thinks you could do better?
I get a lot of boutique chocolate comments, like chocolate chunks, or some of the women want to see some dark chocolate or some white chocolate, which I'm not opposed to. But overwhelmingly, people want to see semi-sweet chocolate chips in their cookies.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Well, we will. I think based off of the Wilmington performance, which I think is enough for me, I'm going to go ahead and put JP and Misha into the next round.
I'll also say anecdotally they look strong in training this week.
All right. So now we are at the crossover.
And ironically enough, we are also at the crossover point of my cookies because I've just added the chocolate. So they're crossing over into finished dough at the moment. We can while you update the bracket, I'll be mixing in the chocolate chips. Dough's a little lighter than normal. I'm not entirely sure why. Could just be me imagining things.
You want to go show that to the viewers?
I think you got it. I'm gonna finish mixing in the chocolate chips. You can re-up on the Glenlivet if you want.
All right. So just kind of to recap, we've got the winners bracket up here.
I was gonna say you can look.
We've got the winners bracket at the top. We've got Angel and Bryce, David Arnold, and Cam Beans making it through to the semi on the winner's side. Loser's side, we've got Kevin Knight, Nick Drucker, JP, and Misha making it through on the loser's side. And you'll see that on the bottom here. So semifinal 1, we've got Angel and Bryce against Kevin and Drucker.
Ooh, I see. I'm not gonna comment on this. I actually will patently refuse to comment on this match. And I'm going to try my best not to judge you for your wrong decision when you take Angel and Bryce.
Well, so maybe you can help me make my decision here. If you, let's say this match, I'm sure this is the match that you're thinking about, right?
Okay.
It's a team that you're thinking about, ahead of time, figuring out how you're going to dissect and destroy them. So, you know, is it going to work? You want to talk about that a little bit? You want to divulge some secrets, or do you think you're going to keep it a little hush hush?
You know, I don't want to give everything away, but we're gonna serve the ball as hard as we can, probably Bryce's direction, and then see if he can, you know, try and take Angel out as much as we can of the match, and see if essentially see if we can side out better than Bryce can. That's how I see it. So it's can Drucker and I figure out a way to side out more consistently than Bryce. That's all I'm giving you.
Okay. I think in the end, Bryce's extensive beach experience proves a little bit too much. And take it in 3.
That one we will definitely be filming.
Yes, that's a match I think everyone in our little, you know, our little pocket of the country would greatly enjoy viewing. I'm going to give the edge to Angel and Bryce. I think it's very close. I would not be shocked if set 3 goes into extras. You know, it comes down to a couple of plays being made in crunch time. Honestly, could go either way. But I'm going to go ahead and take Angel and Bryce.
Got some especially sticky dough here. More so than normal. Normally it's a little more sleek than this, but this is some really sticky, tacky stuff. You can see pretty good. This usually indicates that it's going to spread quite a bit rather than stay tall. So we're going to get some flat pancake looking cookies unless I build them up into a mound. Pretty pumped to bake these.
You can give me a little bit of that dough.
Yeah, take a pinky. Yeah. Take a pinky.
That was disappointing. I was hoping for more. All right, the other semifinal.
I was too in the semi.
The other semi, we got David Arnold and Cam Beans against JP and Misha. I'm gonna be honest here. I love Misha's game to death. You know, the kid started playing volleyball, what, 2 years ago? Not even?
Not
a year and a half?
The first time he touched the ball was rec league last February.
And he's got a killer high line shot, but
You might have mentioned that once.
yeah, we've talked about it a little bit, but you know, I think David Arnold, you know, roaming the back, just kind of proves too much for Misha.
I mean, I think what it comes down to is you've got 2 guys that have played qualifiers against 2 guys that, well, no, JP did play one back, I think, with Vogel once, but essentially 2 guys that haven't played qualifiers against 2 guys that have.
Yeah.
The only question is, in this kind of heat, can Cam and Dave last? Because you know, JP and Misha can go all day long. They play pretty efficient games. Taking Arnold and Beans?
Yeah, I'm taking Arnold and Beans, and I think I think JP and Misha had a really good run. And of the other 3 teams in the semifinal, I actually think this is the worst matchup for them by far.
The serve pressure, the defensive pressure.
I think the combination of serve pressure and defensive pressure is a little too much for Misha.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Hey, it's just a hot take. We're not trying to throw shade here.
Yeah. So now the final, we've got Angel and Bryce against Dave Arnold and Cam Beans. You want to give a take here?
Well, before I give a take there, I'm actually going to say, so for this batch, I'm going to try a new darker pan I bought recently, well oiled and buttered. And I think we're going to go with some mini cookies, and we're going to see how they end up. I'm hoping they spread a bit and give a kind of a crunchy edge. But we got the oven really cooking here. Maybe 420, 425, which is a little hotter than normal. But real small dough balls. We'll see how it goes. So what'd you say our final was?
Our final right now is
the one versus the 2 seed.
Is the 1 versus the 2. We're really Stephen A is really.
This is just unimaginative, man.
Yeah.
Just you got to go out on a limb on one of these matches, but
I mean maybe, but you know. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like picking Dave Arnold after being deployed for 6 months is kind of out on a limb.
Fair enough. You're saying that they're not like a true 3 seed or 2 seed. I mean,
it's true.
They might have been skill-wise, the 3 seed that you chose to be in the finals?
Perhaps.
That's a stretch.
Perhaps. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. So an Angel Bryce, Dave Arnold, Cam Beans match.
Go player by player.
Okay.
I'll give you my take at the very end.
Okay.
I think you probably know what it'll be.
So we've talked about Dave Arnold a little bit. Real crafty player. He can do all the standard things to score points, and then he's got about 10 other ways to score as well. Just when you think you've kind of got him in a hole, and you can't figure out how to score, he does. Despite not being the biggest leaper, the hardest hitter, just kind of plays a real strong mental game and finds ways to put the ball away.
I agree, man. He gets it done, and he gets enough balls up to win normally.
Yeah. Cam is going to go back and try to generate a lot of real points with his serve.
Work to Pottstown.
Yeah. Yeah, work to Pottstown. That's grass though. So
I'm gonna need to open up the oven here real quick. So we got Dave and Cam, strong servers, strong defensively.
Yeah.
Probably weakness is blocking.
Yeah, definite weakness is blocking. 2 people definitely considered defenders, and kind of pure defenders.
But hey, it's East Coast Richmond volleyball here, so
yeah.
They can get away with it.
On the other side, we got Bryce, aka Mr. Thickums. Excuse me. We've got Bryce plays a pretty strong vision-based side-out game to go with his hammer of the swing.
Strong board shorts game too. Slunks.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Bryce's board short game is that strong.
I mean, Troy Field and Chase Frischman probably disagree.
I mean, I don't think it's always slunks. It feels relatively unoriginal. He did pick. It's decent. Like, it's not bad board short game, but it's not great board short game either.
Bryce, for the record, I had your back on this one.
He doesn't do anything crazy. He doesn't do anything special. Just kind of his board shorts get the job done. I think that kind of describes his play style too. So we've got Bryce who's just gonna get it done, and we've kind of got Angel, the X Factor, who could go off at any moment. And I've got to go with Angel and Bryce in this one. I think
2 or 3. You think Cam goes on a serve run, gets him to 3? You think?
Maybe. I'm going to be honest. I think the ball control on the Angel Bryce side of things might be too strong. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down. It comes down to Angel setting a little bit. More often than not, teams are going to go after Bryce, and it's going to come down to whether Angel can put Bryce in a position to score. And I think if Angel executes, I think they'll win.
All right. Real simple. Yeah, if this is your finals, I think on the Beans, Dave's side, I think your weakness is it's a long day of playing, and I don't know how much either one of them have been training, and it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and I can see either one of them really struggling versus Bryce and Angel, who definitely been training. And then what it all comes down to for pretty much every tournament on the East Coast is can Angel set? And that's the real question for the finals, and I don't care who the other team is. It comes down to can Angel set, because we know his partner is going to get all the serves, and if he can set real well, then his partner will side out, and they'll probably win the day on his digging and his team serving. That's my thoughts. But I still think we're in that final.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to back up a little bit. We're going to talk about the Kevin Knight, Nick Drucker versus Dave Arnold Cam Beans final.
What?
Since one of our videographers feels very strongly that we have one of our finals participants wrong, and we obviously know that Kevin's going to pick himself to win that final. I think Kevin's going to talk a little bit about what he thinks he and Nick need to do on the day to take this thing. As the bracket stands, they're going to run into Angel and Bryce in the semi. You think you're going to take it, so talk about that a little bit, then talk about the final.
I mean, I don't think that's gonna. I don't know who's gonna be the final if we were to take Angel in that matchup. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My thought is we've got a very solid blocker defender pairing. Probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, serving team there. Both of us are pretty solid setters. I mean, it really just comes down to, do we mesh well enough on the day to side out consistently enough to win? And I think we will. I think we've shown previously that we're a tough team to deal with in side out. And we've also shown, kind of beyond the shadow of the doubt, that we can score points serving, we can score points defending, and we can score points blocking. So I think that argument stands for at least a finals appearance.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
All right, so we've got Graham, yours truly, picking Angel and Bryce to win.
I'm an idiot if I don't pick myself.
I think Angel and Bryce will win in 2 over Dave Arnold and Cam Beans. And then we've got you picking the consistency and the serving and side out ability of Kevin Knight, Nick Trucker.
Yeah, I mean, you're going into a tournament. I'm not trying to be cocky, just gotta bet on myself. I mean, Nick and I won the last tournament we played, so it's reasonable that we'd win another local one.
It's fair. Very fair.
I mean, I guess in our case, it's like, can I last the whole day? And I think I can, but.
All right, well, there you have it, folks.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Also, just gonna show you some dough balls. These are the normal size. I wish I could show you these when they come out. Might be the thumbnail for the video. But yeah, those are roughly tennis ball sized dough balls, and they're gonna make cookies about the size of my my palm. Paw works.
Paw.
And I think the minis are probably pretty far along. Let me check on these real quick before we let everybody off. Oh, we're not quite there yet. Looking good though. Looking good. Got an nom on those tonight.
There you go.
Oh, do you want to show the final bracket here, or do you think you've gone into it enough?
I mean, I think we covered it up to the semi, but we can show the final a little bit. Now at the bottom, that's kind of our semifinal right there. We've got Angel and Bryce against Kevin and Nick. David Arnold and Cam Beans against JP and Misha.
And you'll be updating this as the day goes?
Yes, I will. We will figure out some way to update it as the day goes. Maybe do what we did for Wilmington. Maybe we'll set up a. Actually, I'll be in person though. We'll have a computer. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll think on it. We'll figure out a way to keep things updated.
Just trying to provide an avenue for volleyball for those of you that are really bored and really want to watch some volleyball.
It's true.
That's how I see it. You want to take us out?
Yeah, I mean, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. This is our first YouTube video. You know, there will definitely be a lot of cringiness on our end when we go to watch this for the first time.
I'm for sure posting this before I watch it. Otherwise, I won't post it. We're posting this before either one of us watches this.
Yeah, I think that's a fair.
I mean, we're not gonna edit. We're not gonna edit it. We don't know how to edit.
Yeah, we don't have time to edit it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Yeah, so we're just gonna post it and then we'll watch it. We'll see what happens. You know, quick disclaimer. You know, as much as we're trying to give takes here, and you know, give predictions on the match, at the end of the day, we do hold a lot of respect for everybody's game on the court. You know, just kind of trying to provide a narrative, if that makes sense. You know, so if you don't like what we had to say about you today, well, go prove us wrong on Saturday, and we'll be sure to talk about it in our wrap-up video. So. And
if the viewers don't like what we have to say, it doesn't really matter. Just don't watch the video.
That's true.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, I think on that note, we'll just go ahead and sign off.